bro, there is craziness happening, Zach.
Talk to me, Goose.
We have playoff football starting to get ready to kick off. People are fighting for seedings. We have basketball starting to hit what I consider the start of the season. Christmas, to me, is like the start of basketball season.
I respect it.
Then we also have MLB trades and free agent signings out the wazoo. This is mayhem.
You know, I think I saw something like, what was it? $1.4 billion has already been spent in the MLB free agency period. That's wild. Wild.
I can't wait for the Yankee haters to tell us how the Yankees have 3 players worth $1 billion on their roster.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Down the Tape. I'm Papa Smurf.
And I'm about to smoke what I smoke.
I should every time you say a new saying like that, I should just change your name to it on screen. Hector smokes what he smokes, which is also an appropriate way of saying Hector said what he said. But yeah, guys, welcome to this episode. Like we said in the intro there, you know, it's a wonderful time of year. We've got World Cup soccer, we've got the NBA, we've got NHL, we've got MLB offseason going bonkers. That's got a lot of news. We've got the NFL coming to its close. We've got fantasy football, playoffs starting either next week or the week after. So it's a good time in sports. It's a good time if you're a sports fan. Not if you're a certain fan of certain teams. But it's a good time to be a sports fan.
Damn right. Just to the Super Bowl.
Hey, it's still a possibility.
It's still a possibility.
If the season ended right now, the Jets would be in the playoffs, and that's all that fucking matters.
I mean, we would have to play like the Chiefs, but in the first round, but it's all right.
Look, okay. I don't want to talk about it. Also, we've got, as far as, we'll get into the Jets. We'll get into the Jets. I was going to talk about offensive and defensive rookies of the year, but we'll get into it when we get there. Do you have anything around the world of sports that you'd like to touch on? I know we kind of said that there's a lot of sports going on, but do you have any noteworthy headlines?
Hell yeah. We'll shoot straight over to, like you said, the World Cup. The U.S. did get eliminated 3-1 by the Netherlands. The Netherlands are a good squad. They're the 8th ranked team in the world. They're a defensive type of team. They're big. I know they had a couple guys that were like 6'5" on there. Like the U.S. was small compared to them. Good matchup. I watched that game. U.S. controlled the ball for almost the entire match, but just could not get those goals to go in. They had a few chances. Good on the Netherlands to move on. Funny thing, I went to a doctor's appointment with Christy, and I heard the nurse talking, and I'm like, where's your accent from? You got to be Ukrainian or something. The chick was from the Netherlands. I'm like, oh, so it must be good to watch the U.S. fucking lose.
Yeah, man, I watched the game as well. I'm not a soccer person. I don't really know what I'm watching, but I felt like the Netherlands, even when they didn't have the ball and they were playing defense, I felt like they were in control the entire time. Yeah, there was a couple of breaks that the U.S. had that, every game is a game of inches, I suppose, and just missed some close opportunities, but it never felt like, to me, watching the game, it never felt like the U.S. had a chance. It always felt like that the Netherlands just controlled. They seemed to be more organized. They seemed to have a better head on their shoulders. They seemed to be bigger and faster. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's one of those things where you're lucky, soccer's not our main sport because Tyreek Hill would murder you, you bastards.
No, yeah. I mean, like I said, I watched the game, and the U.S. dominated the ball. They had ball control for the whole game. The thing is that Netherlands was more on the attack. They were more aggressive.
Right.
The U.S. were trying to get the chances they did have. They were trying to get perfect. They had chances that they got in within a good range to make a shot on goal, and they wanted the extra perfect pass to try to get past the goalie. It's like, bro, just fucking shoot the ball on target and start rattling some cages. Start getting guys out of position. Start getting the goalie diving around. Stop trying to make that extra pass and that perfect pass.
It's funny you say that because at one point, my New York Rangers fan came out and I actually yelled, "Shoot the fucking puck." And I was like, ball, not fucking puck. Shoot the goddamn thing. Because I felt like I was watching the Rangers, because that's exactly what happened on so many chances, was just that one extra. I remember one, I don't remember what time in the game. I don't know the players, but I remember at one point it was like one-on-one with the goalie, and the defender was trailing him. You had another attacker trailing, and instead of just trying to take a rip at the goal, he had that like one heel. He tried to like heel pass it back for the layoff, to get the goalie out of position, and the defender made a good play on it. And I think that was the moment that I was like, shoot the fucking puck, ball, whatever it's fucking called, just shoot the goddamn thing. And it felt like watching the Rangers all over.
And then we had like luck not on our side. We had a couple squeakers that could have went in and they got blocked.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Good run for the U.S.
Yeah, true.
Slightly disappointed, but like you said, soccer's not like U.S. is not the worst in soccer. They're always like right in the middle of the pack between like 12 and 18. And that's where we're going to stay in. We're always going to be in that 12 to 18 range. We're not going to be elite in soccer, but we're not going to suck at it either.
Just imagine if we did put forth like athlete. Not saying that soccer players aren't athletes. Please don't get me wrong. But imagine if we put forth like our best athletes. Imagine if this country put the kind of money into soccer that we do football. It just
I'd
don't
still
even schedule the World Cup at that point.
I'd still put my money on the women's national team to beat half of the men's in the world.
If we put our top, our women's team against half the men in the other world, yeah. But if we put our top athletes, Tyreek Hill as an attacker, get the fuck away from me. Calvin Johnson as a goalie, fuck off. You're never scoring a goal. The dude would never have. Anyway, I'm losing my mind and breaking my setup. What else we got?
Soon over to the NBA. The season's, like I said, is kicking off. Christmas is coming. That's like the real start of the season to me. We're 20-something games in right now, so probably a quarter of the way through. Knicks played last night. Great win. They're 11-13 right now. They're still battling between the play-in tournaments and trying to get one of those top 6 seeds. Yep. They're heating up. I mean, they're not going to win the division. Celtics look like one of those dominant teams this year that might go back to the finals.
For sure.
But I'm excited for the Knicks. They're doing good. We need to get above 500. We put a nice stomper on Trae Young. He came to the Garden with King of Broadway sneakers on, and that didn't pan well for him.
Yeah, I saw that. He's with the Cavaliers now, right? He's with the Cavs?
Trae Young's on the Atlanta.
Why did I think he got traded to the Cavs? Who the fuck got traded to the Cavs recently?
Donovan Mitchell went to the Cavs.
That's who I was thinking, because the Knicks beat the Cavs the other day. Did they not, or am I on drugs?
The Knicks did beat the Cavs.
Okay, good. At least I remember something. Gotcha. Okay, that's what I thought you were referencing. I don't know why I thought it was Trae Young on the Cavs, but okay, that's good.
As of last night, they played Atlanta.
Gotcha.
Atlanta's 13-12, and they're on the 5 spot right now in the East. The Knicks are 12-13. They're technically in the playoff tournament at 9, but that just shows you how close the race is. Like, Brooklyn's the 4th seed at 14-12, so it's a 2 or 3 game flop from us being the 9th seed to a 4th seed.
I respect it.
I'm excited. I think the Knicks, if they can, go on a little run. RJ Barrett's playing well. Julius Randle's playing well. Jalen Brunson has outplayed his contract. I think we can possibly be that 4th or 5th seed.
It would be nice. Knicks in 6 is our thing, and we're going to stay with it.
Knicks in 6. And now moving on to baseball. Like I said, baseball has been rattling right now, and there's crazy moves going all over the place. Big Japanese star Yoshida, the fuck his name is, Masataka Yoshida. I feel like all their names are always like, I'm not trying to go down that hole, but I feel like all their names are somewhat the same.
No, I can't even begin to pronounce it. I would have called them shiitake mushroom, for the love of God. So no, you're doing great.
Yeah, 29-year-old outfielder that apparently is like a Andrew Benintendi with power. Like, this guy's like an elite outfielder with power. He signs a 5-year, $90 million contract to the Red Sox. There were rumors of him going to the Yankees. I know the Yankees were going to try to re-sign Benintendi, but they were trying to get this guy as well. Looks
Right.
like the Red Sox did get him. Pretty good dude. He's hitting like 335 in Japan with some power. So that'll be interesting to see. While the Red Sox also signed a 2-year deal for Kenley Jansen, closer for them. Then we also have Boston Red Sox Bogaerts, Alexander Bogaerts, now leaving Boston to go to the Padres on a $280 million deal. I didn't think he was going to leave Boston.
You know, I've heard rumblings, right? Like I'm not my finger on the pulse of Boston fans, but shout out Jimmy Pibbs and some other
That's
guys.
huge though, because Bogaerts is loved in Boston.
I know he's loved in Boston, but from what I understand, that relationship has been on the dip for a little bit now, and there has been some strain there. So I'm not inherently surprised that he left, but at the same time, you know, you're always surprised when your big guy leaves. Not like he's my big guy. I'm happy the Sox are losing somebody, but you know what I mean? Like you're always surprised when that hometown hero leaves, no matter how bad the relationship is.
And a great segue that it was to the Padres. Because speaking of the Padres were making crazy moves.
Yeah.
They put all types of deals out there. They were trying to sign everyone and anyone that knew how to swing a bat or throw a ball. I mean, they were in the runnings for Bogaerts, which they just signed. They were in the running for Aaron Judge, and we get there. They were in the running. They already have Juan Soto, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis Jr.
If he ever plays baseball again.
They were in the runnings for Trey Turner, who ended up signing somewhere else.
The Dodgers, correct?
He was on the Dodgers. He left the Dodgers now. I'll get there next on this next segment right here. But yeah, the Padres are willing to open the fucking bank and sign everyone.
I wonder if they win the World Series, if anyone will cry about them buying their championships, or if they just think it'll be
it's only the Yankees. It's only because they don't even bring it up for the Dodgers, who has the highest role in baseball.
That's fair. That's fair.
Speaking of Trey Turner, he leaves the Dodgers. Like I said, the Padres was willing to sign him for a fat contract. He ends up turning down a higher contract with the Padres. I think they were giving him somewhere close to like 11 years, $320 million or something. He takes less to go to Philly on a 10-year, $300 million deal. So they got their shortstop over there in Philly now. Philly's also making extra moves. I think they signed a pitcher.
Yeah, Philly. I saw that had made I think like 3 big signings. And I saw that Trey Turner did turn down a big deal from somebody. I did forget who. But yeah, Philly's another team that's willing to open the book. They got close last year, and they want to seal the deal next year.
The St. Louis Cardinals lost Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, 2 Hall of Famers, spent most of their careers. Well, Yadier did spend his whole career with the Cardinals. Pujols left for a little bit. We know that, came back.
Yep.
Cardinals already replaced Yadier Molina's catching position. They went and signed Cubs. Is it Wilson or Willis? Wilson Contreras, 5-year, $87.5 million deal. That's a great pickup from St. Louis. Contreras is one of the better catchers in the league. There was talks last year of him being traded from the Cubs. I think St. Louis is a great fit for him.
I can't comment. I don't know enough about it, so I'll trust your word on it.
I think it's a great fit for him. He's still 30 years old. He's a great defensive catcher. He has pop in the bat. I think that's a great move for the Cardinals. And then to the big ones, Justin Verlander, 2-year, $86 million deal to the Mets. Outbid by the Yankees. Not really outbid, though. It came out that the Yankees actually gave more for Verlander, but he decided to go to the Mets. Apparently, he from what I read, I don't know if it's just a joke or whatever, but he rather play for a team that doesn't boo their players.
What, he thinks Mets fans are a different brand of New Yorker?
I know, New York is still New York. Like, when you suck, they're going to boo you.
You think Queens is any... Yes, on some minute differences that I'm sure everybody outside or inside the city will yell at me for saying it's minute, but on some minute differences, sure, the different boroughs are a little bit different. But do you think a city resident is in Queens is any different than a city resident in the Bronx? Like, do you really think that there's a monstrous difference between the two. They're the same animal with just different stripes. All
And
right.
they're
Like,
not the same mess that they were last year. Like I think what they did last year, you're not going to see the same product. I mean, they just lost Jacob DeGrom. Another
yeah,
trade, right? Another move right there. Not a trade, but another signing. Jacob DeGrom leaves the Mets and signs a 5-year deal with the Texas Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Mets, look, the Mets are going to do what the Mets do, right? They're going to start off the season hot. Mets fans are going to chirp. Oh my God, we're the kings of New York, even though they'll always have a worse record than the Yankees. They're going to chirp, 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 chirp. The All-Star break is going to hit, and they're going to plummet. Come on, we've seen the movie every year, Verlander. What are you doing? But
I
hey,
mean,
if that's
unless
what you want to sign your deal to, that's what you want to sign your deal to.
I don't know. They won 101 games last year. I don't see the Mets getting back there. And even if they get somewhere to the realm of what they did last year, the playoff situation is still going to be paying out to be the same. They're going to get trumped in for the fucking first round again.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And the other big one, obviously, on our side of the river, I almost called it, on our side of the block is Aaron Judge, man.
He made his
Aaron
decision.
Judge.
He made his final. He did it quick. He did it quietly. He hit all the spots he needed to hit. He talked to whoever needed to talk. And this is another signing where people outbid the Yankees. We had the San Francisco Giants give a 9-year, $400 million deal. And there was the Padres. The Padres also gave a 10-year, $400 million deal. Hal Steinbrenner called Judge up, said, "Do you want to be a Yankee?" He said, "I'll take less money, but I need an extra year." So 360 for 9 years it is, and we got it done.
Yeah, I mean, look, we even saw Tom Brady trying to recruit him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was one of the most sought after sports free agents that we've seen in a while. And I have multiple points to this. I've seen on Twitter some people mad at Aaron Judge for, quote, taking as long as he did and, quote, leading everybody on.
I
Shut
don't
the
think it
fuck up.
was that long.
It's like a week into free agency, number one. Number fucking one. Number two, Aaron Judge never said dick to nobody. He made his rounds, right? He saw the teams that were in bid for him and who had the money for him. He sat down, he made his talks. He, like any smart business person would, you collect all of your offers. And then he made, like you said, I thought, a pretty fast decision. But there are some people on the Twitterverse who are pissed, and I don't understand why.
It makes no sense. I mean, it's not like he was fucking LeBron James, and making us anticipate and wait and putting us this whole press conference and shit. No. You sat down, you spoke to the teams that were in the running. The Yankees did exactly what they said they were going to do. They were going to sit back, let you talk to the teams. You come back to us, tell us what the highest bidder was, and then we'll make our offer.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I don't understand why people are pissed. Secondly, 9 years isn't too bad. I said not a day over 8. So I am still a little apprehensive, but what's 1 year between friends, right? Like it's not like they signed him to a 10, 15-year deal, so I'm not upset about this. I'm not going back on the 8 years, right? But I mean, again, what's 1 year between friends?
Like we said, he's 30 years old. He'll be 31 in April for the start of the season. Like we've said, 7, 8 years was where I kind of wanted to stay. But he's a player who's in his 30s now, and they're looking for the stability and the insurance down the hall.
Can't blame him.
So he's going to be a Yankee for life. Probably by year 6, they're trying to restructure the deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, we could have spent more.
Yeah. And
or we could have let him walk.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, in the end, they got him, and they got him to, I think, a deal that benefits everybody. He's one of the highest paid athletes on planet fucking Earth. I mean, he gets the stability he wants for longevity. And look, if he can perform for 60% of that contract, I think the Yankees win. I don't think he loses. I don't think anybody has to lose here. But
I mean, he also knew the deal. Were you really gonna make more? I mean, besides the making more money part, were you really gonna win or be on the verge of winning a chip with one of those other teams? I don't
It's
really
not.
think so.
Yeah, it's not nearly as guaranteed. Yes, do the Dodgers have a good chance? Sure. Would the Padres have a good chance? Sure. But nothing, I feel like you ask any baseball fan, and at their core of their hearts, who's going to win the champion, who has the best likelihood to win a World Series next year? In the core of their hearts, Yankees pops up. You know,
I
they
think
might not admit it out loud, but it is what it is.
I think deep down he wanted to be a Yankee for life, so he gave us the little discount money wise. We give him that little extra year.
That's negotiations, baby.
You're
I'll
never
take
going
this
to make
hit, you
everybody
take that
happy
hit.
because you got some people like, oh, too much years, oh, too much money, oh, we should have let him walk. But if we did any one of those three, then you got the other side of the spectrum of the people like, oh, why'd you re-sign him? Oh,
Why fans don't run sports teams.
You can't make everybody happy.
Yep. All that matters is that Judge and the Yankees are happy and everybody's Gucci.
And we're still not done. They're still trying to sign Andrew Benintendi for the outfield. We have Harrison Bader already locked up. DJ's still there. Rizzo's locked up for a few more years. We're going to bring up Oswaldo Perez is staying up. The other Oswald is staying up. The rookie shortstop, apparently, I know they re-signed IKF, but I think IKF re-signing is just like a security blanket. They're going to have this rookie start. They played, I think his last name's like Volpe, some shit like that. He played a little bit last year, but I think they're going to try to get him molded into that starting shortstop position. Fair
enough. I look forward to it.
And the last thing was Jameson Taillon from the Yankees walked. He went to the Cubs, signed a 4-year deal with the Cubs. I mean, he did good for us last season. I'm not happy or not happy about him leaving. I mean, we do need starting pitching though, so it does hurt to have a starting pitcher who played well for us leave.
Fair enough. What else you got for me?
That's all. That's Murder, She Wrote, bro.
Well, I got one more thing before we move on, and I want to get your opinion. And I didn't think this was big news, but I've heard so much dissenting opinion both way on this. I want to bring it up. Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders goes from a historically black college, takes it from a garbage team to back-to-back SWAC champions, perfect season this year, and then he leaves to go to Colorado. That's one part of the story that is very, very decisive. And then we have the other part of the story, which is his opening press conference, or not press conference, but his opening statement or meeting with his new team in Colorado. Did you happen to see that clip or no?
So I think I know where you're going, and I think I know the clip you're talking about.
Where he's like, all right, I'm Coach Prime, this is what I expect out of players, blah, 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 blah. Y'all better hit the transfer portal because I'm bringing my baggage with me, and you'll either step up or you'll get out.
Yes. Let's start from the beginning. I think the opportunity arose for Colorado came, and it was smart of him to take that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a step up. Like he said, it's levels to this shit. You want to play against the best. You want to be the best. So, you start off in this, college with the HBCU. You put a name for them. Now you take this next step. You go to Colorado. People were saying Florida State should have signed him, or some of these other teams. They were stupid for not. I'll leave that for them to debate. But I think for him to leave and go to Colorado, a bigger institute, it's a career decision. Like, that's the next best step. Now, when it comes to the next part, where while he's getting announced, is like, yo, where's my son? Well, there's your starting quarterback. Oh, by the way, yes, he does have to earn it, but yeah, that's going to be the starting quarterback. Like, don't tell us he has to earn it if you're already saying that's the starting quarterback.
Oh yeah, and he's bringing a lot of kids with him. I believe
and I called it from the jump. The minute they said Colorado signed him, I said half of those kids in that HBCU wants to play for him. So they're going to hit the transfer portal, and they're going to try to go and play for him.
And correct me if I'm wrong, his previous school is Jackson State, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So going back to the first point, I don't know not that I have a horse in this race, because obviously I'm not a minority, but so the dissenting opinions I've heard is one side saying that he's a sellout, that he sold these hopes and dreams at a historically black college, and that he, is now trading in those hopes and dreams and selling out and chasing the money. And then I heard, I believe it was Emmanuel Acho say something about it, and he was like, every black man can get a job as head coach at an HBCU, right? Like that's their space.
They're gonna try to hire a black man first,
right? That's the space that they own, right? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The point is to get those spaces that are not typically, I'll use the word, infiltrated by minorities, to be infiltrated by minorities, to get those spaces that are typically not seen with black men or women in those positions, to open those doors for black men and women.
Especially a guy like Deion who was very...
Well, slam open that door.
Yeah, like he's one of those guys, like he'll slam open the door, and if the guy turns around, like, who the fuck is that? Oh, never mind. Like, right. It's Deion.
So as somebody who doesn't like, I don't know, Acho's words really like rang to me as far as like, wow, this is a good thing for progress, for progress of people who generally wouldn't get a shot. And let's put a fine point on it, for minorities who generally wouldn't get a shot in these typically white owned spaces. I think this is a fantastic thing for minorities from the context that Acho put it. Now, obviously, I can't fully understand the cultural context, and I'm not going to say that I can. But the way he put it makes me think that, yeah, this is a fantastic thing, because if he can do in Colorado what he did at Jackson State, which is in 1 year, they went like what? The first year after he got there, the second year after he got there, they had like one loss and were SWAC champions. Yeah, and now in his like third or fourth year, he's undefeated in SWAC champions.
3 years, he's 20. I want to say like 26-5, but those 5 losses were in the first 2 years.
That's what I'm saying.
I think 4 of the losses were in the first year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he has taken a program immediately and switched it around, and now he's looking to do the same thing at Colorado. Especially if he can do the same thing, I think that's an amazing. Like I think you're going to get a lot of other schools that open their eyes and go, okay, well, fuck, we really need to expand our candidacy search. Not that they're intentionally going, oh, we're only looking at white names and we can only talk to white people.
But they are.
But I don't think it's intentional, but I do think it's like institutionally built in, if that makes any sense. I don't think you're intentionally making that decision, but you're biased to look more at the names like John and Smith, and
it's like an automatic thing. Like you're built to just automatically just
right. Whereas I think now if he can do the same thing that he did at Jackson State at Colorado and flip that program on its ear to a contender, I think that opens a lot of doors for minority coaches who generally wouldn't have that opportunity. That's just the outside looking in, but I think it's a fantastic thing.
I do feel bad for some of those players, though. Some of you might actually have to hit the transfer portal, because he's not joking when he said that. Like, yes, he's telling you guys, like, look, you're gonna have to you have to compete and earn your shit, or you're not gonna have a spot on the team. I get that part, but he's not joking when he's saying he's coming with a suitcase of baggage. Like He not coming off that plane by himself.
Josh McCown's son.
That fucking Jackson State football team. And if you motherfuckers can't outplay them, you gone.
So here's the thing. And I saw this really cool, very brief analysis on TikTok, and I wish I could remember the creator's name so I could give him credit. But so multiple things here. Josh McCown's son is the quarterback of Colorado State. The day after Prime had his meeting with the players, he entered the transfer portal the day after. Secondly, Deion Sanders hired an offensive coordinator, and again, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, well, first of all, sorry to cut you off, but before you continue on there, of course he's going to hit that transfer portal. His son is a quarterback. You think he's not going to start his son?
Yeah, no, and especially with how good his son is.
The minute he signed Colorado, I said he's bringing his son with him because he's going to take his son straight to the NFL.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But then he signs this offensive coordinator, and I can't remember his name for the life of me, but had like the 4th fastest college offense last year. So you combine, and you know, Deion is bringing athletes, right? Like even if you're not amazing at football, he's bringing athletes, right? So now you've combined the college, one of the college football's fastest offensive coordinators, bringing one of the college football's fastest offenses, combined with the freakish athletes that are gonna hawk to Colorado now. Some of the best athletes in the country are about to sign with Colorado. You can book that. I don't care if they're fucking track stars. They're signing with Colorado football.
And you're talking about the offense right now. I'm
Mhm.
terrified about that defense because do you really want a motivational pep talk from Deion Sanders to the defense in a crucial
Mhm.
moment?
And
You
then
know that defense is going to ride out.
combine all of that with you're playing like a mile above sea level. Dude, imagine going into Colorado facing
So you're
playing
telling
in
me
that
basically the
altitude.
Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos should be the college team.
Yeah, honestly, because this is you're about to see kids like dying in the fourth quarter. I'm gonna make this statement now. I believe that Colorado's second half team, like their first half is gonna be good, but I don't think they're gonna blow teams out in the first half. You're gonna see Colorado start to rip away from teams in the second half at home because the ungodly level of conditioning that's about to happen at Colorado. Whoever transfers and goes to Colorado and signs with that football team, God bless you. You're
You're gonna
going to
have
die.
iron lungs, like
You're
lungs of
going to
steel.
die. This is going to be the worst conditioning on planet fucking Earth. There's going to be some like Navy SEALs style of shit that he's about to put them through. But I don't know. I just thought it was cool talking points and some pretty significant progression and historically changing shit in college football.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Actually, and there's one last thing before we move on to some football.
Oh shit.
Brittany Griner,
Saw
WNBA
that.
star Brittany Griner, got released and is free today. The U.S. had completed a prison swap, which is unspeakable in its of itself, since the U.S. usually never ever does prison swaps, and let alone a WNBA star for a top
International arms dealer.
international most wanted arms dealer. Um, and then on that, you didn't even get the Marine that stuck out there as well.
Yep.
So you got fleeced, U.S. Biden, you're retarded. You got fleeced.
Should have had Joe Douglas on that deal. He would have had half of the Crimean Peninsula freed. He would have had.
Good
Yeah,
on Brittany Griner. I'm glad you're home. Hopefully you're unharmed, safe, and all that jazz. Good for you. But there are bigger things at hand, and I'm not taking away from you coming home, but U.S. got fleeced, and it was a dumb fucking deal.
You know, and I think that brings up an important point, right? Because I've seen people on either side of this, and I think you can be happy about one part of it, but mad about another part. You can be happy Brittany Griner's home. I am. I'm happy that a U.S. citizen who was charged with blown up, overblown fucking bullshit charges so this exact thing could happen. I'm happy she's home because it should have been fucking against the Geneva Convention that she was locked up in the first place. But I'm like you and many people also mad that we traded an international arms dealer for it, the Deacon of Death or whatever his bullshit fucking nickname is.
Merchant of Death.
Merchant of Death. I'm not gonna lie, I think Deacon of Death is better, but I'm not trying to name international fucking supervillains here. While still leaving a Marine over there, it's not a fair deal. And while again, I'm happy a US citizen is back in US soil, it's still bullshit. to put a fine point on it, it's still bullshit. So for everybody who's like, oh well, you're just hating on Brittany Griner, you can be happy and mad at the same time.
No hate on Brittany Griner. I'm glad you're home. Here, when you get home, smoke a bowl. Like me, smoke a bowl. I got you. You got more money than me though, so you can get the goods. I mean, I get the goods, but you get the goods.
You get the good goods. You get the rich people goods.
But I mark my words, this is not the last time we hear of Victor Bout.
No, not at well. This is where I disagree with you. This is assuredly the last time the general public hears his name. Whether that means
general public, yes, but
yeah, he's going to keep operating, but the general public won't. Now the U.S. will cover this shit up. You know how it goes. You know how I'm surprised this episode is even going to get published. I'm surprised I don't have a little notification. My personal NSA agent messaging me now. Hey, shut the fuck up.
I know, right? I'm waiting for a little email like I'm watching you.
Right? Ding, watch my internet go out. I'd shit. Anyway, before the NSA catches us, let's move on to some football.
Let's go.
You have your handy dandy notebook ready?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
This is
sir.
another good week, Zach. And a couple good topics too to talk on some of these games. So we'll shoot straight into the first matchup. We had the Bills versus the Patriots. Bills by 3, Bills by 6. We both take the W here. And like we've said before, hard to choose which one to root for, but the one we rooted for won.
And it was good for the Jets in the end. As we'll get to later with their loss, it keeps the Patriots behind them. So this was a good thing. Obviously, you never want to see the Patriot or the Bills win, but it is, and it knocks the Dolphins out of first place. So victory is all around. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, this really did this game go any different than anyone expected it to?
No. I mean, exactly what needed to be done. And with a game later on that we'll talk about, KC taking a little foreshadowing. They lost their matchup. The Bills are in first place in the AFC.
Mm-hmm. I will say the one nice thing to see from this team is that they finally put a rushing attack together. Your boy James Cook, 64 yards, Devin Singletary, 51 and a touchdown. So it's nice to see Josh Allen not leading the team in rushing attempts and yards.
Look at your boy Cook, bro.
What's up?
Look at your boy Cook.
Look, you still got to buy me some Jet stuff because he is not averaging 12 and a half fantasy points. You are assuredly losing that bet. but it looks like he's starting to come around, and you may eventually be right. But for this season,
I might have jumped the gun on the 12 and a half points, but
a little un poquito. You got it right with the talent that's there, but a little early, a season early, 16 games too early.
Next matchup, we got Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. We both took Pittsburgh. You by 1, me by 3.
Dead on the head for you, brother.
Dead on the goddamn head. And one of the key things I'll take out of this game is Mariota is no longer the starter. It has come out that Desmond Ridder is named the starter for the Atlanta Falcons going forward.
I mean, look, he's got to be, right? I mean, Mariota has just been, and look, I'm not saying that the Falcons are a superstar team that he's failing on, but he's been given, this was his revival chance, and he's been given most of the season to do it, and he just has done nothing impressive, not on the stat sheet, not in the game film. Unfortunately, he's just, he's not a starter in the NFL.
If I'm right, and we go back to the receipts, I said Desmond Ridder was going to be the starter by week 6. I'm a little off. I'm off. But,
a lot off.
It's still this season.
But I'm still right. God damn it. No, I mean that's really what it boils down to. Unfortunately, is as much as he is likable, he just is not. This starting in the NFL is not his gig.
They're in a somewhat of a rebuild. You might as well. You got the rookie London out there. Might as well throw the rookie Ridder out there. Let them start building their camaraderie. You got Cordell Patterson. You don't know how long he's going to continue playing football because he's not a young bird anymore. I mean, he's been around for a while. But you do have the Algier, the rookie. You do have Huntley, guys that you can work with. You might as well take the rest of this season and move forward into next season with fucking the new guys.
No, I agree. And let's not forget, Kyle Pitts is only a sophomore, right? He's only 1 year removed.
He's out for the remainder of the season. So, yeah, right. I totally forgot about Kyle Pitts.
I'm just saying, like, moving forward, Atlanta isn't in a rough spot. If their pieces can play, if their rookies can play well, Atlanta's got some serious upside to them for next season in the future.
I mean, if they're 5-8 right now with Mariota playing,
and you still have a chance to win that division.
Firm believer of Desmond Ridder. I have been since before the season. I wanted him to start the season. If they're 5 wins with Mariota, and I think Mariota is not as good as Ridder, what the fuck do you think Ridder is going to do? Ridder can win the division for you.
Look, man, and again, we could pull up the receipts. According to some of my inside sources, to some scouts that I've talked to, Ridder's the real deal. We might be in for a show. The better half of this season might be very interesting in Atlanta and the NFC South.
I'm excited. I'm excited for next year for Atlanta.
I agree with that. This year, even if they win that division, you're fucked. You're not going anywhere. But I definitely agree with you for next season.
Next up, we got division rivals here: Green Bay versus Chicago. You took Green Bay by 3. I took Green Bay by 10.
You're almost on the dot again, bro.
Almost on the dot again. 28-19. This one was no Justin Fields, so there was a difference. No, Justin Fields did play actually.
He was in, yeah.
He did play. But it was his first game back. That's what it was.
Yeah, and he had a decent game, 20 for 25 with 254 yards.
He has a good connection with Cole Kmet. I like that. His Amon St. Brown's brother. I'm not even gonna try to say his fucking name.
I got you.
I'm gonna say Amon St. Brown's brother.
Equanimous St. Brown. You just hit me every time you need to say his name. Just give me the point and I'll hit you. I got you.
Yeah, Bears are one of those teams too. They're starting to put it together later in the season. They're throwing up points on the board. I'm excited for this team next year. If they can build a defense and Justin Fields takes those steps, Bears could be doing something.
I agree. And keep in mind, the Bears, I think he's a sophomore now, running back. Now he's technically the backup. He's been in an IR for most of the season. Khalil Herbert. If he was in, I think this might. Yeah, I was gonna say this might look a little bit different. He showed quite a lot last year. But again, Justin Fields, he did throw 2 interceptions, but I mean 20 for 25 with 254 yards, 71 yards on the ground, and 1 touchdown isn't anything to shake a stick at. I got someone.
The Packers defense didn't sack you.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, the takeaway from this is just no matter how bad the Bears are, and no matter how bad Green Bay is, Aaron Rodgers he has the key to the city in Chicago, and it just is what it is. He just does. I mean, he didn't even have a good game either. He was barely over 50% for 182.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Rodgers is.
He's done. I'm sorry. Like this is what happens, man. Just sometimes you got to ride into the sunset looking good. You look ugly right now. Oh, I feel like you've seen this story.
I think he still comes back next year.
Crazy. I swear to God, if he follows the Brett Favre path, I'm going to shoot myself in the head.
If he follows, don't do that, because if you follow the Brett Favre path, that means you're going to Minnesota and the Jets. And please, I don't want that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is I'm going to fucking give myself an ice pick.
Do I want a quarterback? I'm not saying I don't want Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback for the Jets.
I don't.
Take an Aaron Rodgers over fucking what we got now. But, I don't want that. Whatever psychedelics you were taking on that mountain, keep it over there.
Yeah, I don't want any of that
in my locker room.
Give me Aaron Rodgers 6 years ago, but I don't want any of this shit right now. Any of it.
Next up, we got the Jags versus the Lions. You took the Lions by 10. I took the Jags by 4. This was my first L right here. What a beatdown by the Lions. And they actually played defense. So, if they could do this consistently.
Yeah, no, the Lions have a team. Obviously, I don't think the future is Jared Goff. You still can't convince me. I don't care how good he's been this year. But if they could figure out a defense, like you just said, I mean, they've got a team. And on the other side of the ball, Trevor Lawrence still sucks. I do not care. I know he was taken out late in the fourth quarter because he was injured, but he had 31 pass attempts and only completed 17 of them for 179 against a historically bad Lions defense. So Trevor Lawrence is a bust. Said it. We'll say it. Continue to say it.
I will say I was never a fan of Christian Kirk signing for the Jaguars. Agreed. They signed him as a number 1 receiver, and he is, granted, 6 for 104, but he's not a number 1. He's good at a number 2. They need a true number 1 there. Christian Kirk's not the guy. I think you'll get more out of Christian Kirk if he was the number 2 guy and you had a true number 1.
I agree with you. He's the number 1 on the Jags, right? On the Jags, who has Evan Ingram, Marvin Jones Jr., and Zay Jones, right? He's your number 1 with that setup. If you give him any other number 2 receiver who even trends towards a number 1, then Christian Kirk automatically becomes the 2.
Yeah, but they paid him as like a number one. That's why it was just
Oh, I
so
agree.
odd to me.
I agree. They broke the bank on getting Trevor Lawrence all of these weapons. And that's the funny part, right? Because we said this narrative at the beginning of the season. Why are they spending this money? These players aren't that good. And every Jags fan said, oh, well, they're getting weapons. They're weapons. They're weapons. But now at the end of the season, now that they suck and they're continuing to suck and they won't do anything, now everyone's going to be like, yeah, but Christian Kirk isn't even that good. What did you want him to do? But didn't you just tell me they went and bought weapons? What? Anyway,
they're
I'm
buying
coming after fans today. I'm like Robert Salah. I got CVS receipts, baby. I'm coming after fans all day, every day.
Oh, you got the extra long ones.
Dumb extras, baby. You know what I'm saying? Wrapping
papers. That give you 50 different types of different discount coupons
to places I ain't never heard of.
Next up, we got Washington. Oh, another rival division game right here. Washington versus New York. The Commanders versus the Giants. You took Washington by 3. I took the Giants by 7. We both took L's here because what in the holy fuck? Like, how do you end in a tie? And more disappointing on the Giants side because, 1, you shouldn't have let this get to this point, but 2, you had the chance to win it, and you had Mr. fucking consistent all year Gano, who's been a fucking one of the better kickers in the league all year, miss a fucking, I mean, granted, it was a 58-yarder, but to Gano, or Gano, I say Gano, but to Gano, 58-yarder is like a chip shot to him.
It's funny you say that because I don't know what game I was watching the other day, but someone lined up for like a 54-yarder, and my initial reaction was like, oh man, that's a distance. But I feel like in the 50s anymore, no one gives a shit. That is commonplace field goals anymore. So no, I agree with you. 50, I believe that we've seen Gano hit 58-yarders pretty consistently. But yeah, I mean that's the game right there. Missing the field goal, leaving points on the board. Now on the flip side, Joey Sly on Washington did miss his own field goal, but you know, it's just how does this game end in a tie?
I don't. But I will say to those that don't believe in Daniel Jones, start believing in Daniel Jones, you know, because game after game after game, he's had high completion percentage. Again, another one, 25 for 31, not turning the ball over. He took a couple sacks this game, but, you know, and he's producing while rushing the ball. This white boy got legs, bro. This white boy can kick it with the top runners in the league with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and them boys. This
Until
boy,
the 5-yard line comes about.
If I'm wrong, I mean, if I'm right, Daniel Jones, I think, is the 5th best rushing QB in the league right now. 4th, I think, after this game.
Look, and
you give him some real receivers, and like this team is even better than 7-4-1.
You're not wrong. I just refuse to get off of my bias. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just refuse to be like, yeah, Daniel Jones is
with a subpar Saquon Barkley game, 63 yards and a touchdown.
Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. I just can't. I'm sorry, I won't do it. I won't do it.
See, that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, he's not good. He turns the ball over. He fumbles a lot. He throws picks. He cleans that up, and then no one wants to believe in it now.
You're 100%.
He's done exactly. He fixed exactly what people have been bitching him about. So now he's a quarterback.
You're 100% right. He has fixed all the things I've bitched about. I just won't do it. There's no rationale here. I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not even going to pretend that I have some like logic here. I just won't do it. I'm not going to lie to you. This isn't like one of those things where I can stand on my reason. No, I'm refusing.
I mean, on the other side for the Commanders, Brian Robinson Jr. is that guy. He rebounded that's 21 for 96. Taylor Heinicke, and I said it before the season started, I thought he should have been the starting quarterback. I thought who was the quarterback? Wentz. I said it before. I said, I would have rolled out with Heinicke.
I agree with you. I feel like Heinicke has earned, especially over Wentz, right? I feel like given what they had, Heinicke earned the ability to keep starting. Now, had they drafted, some next coming of God. Even still, Heineke, I think, earned it. They would have had to trade for like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, or you know what I mean? For Heineke to have lost that starting spot to Wentz, I think was a slap in the face, because we all know what I think of Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, that whole team in itself, like that whole organization, they constantly contradict themselves. They don't, like, especially in the QB room.
Oh
In
my
the QB
God.
room, they just don't know.
Yeah. And
one day to the next what they're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm still not off of that Ron Rivera situation. Oh, who's to blame? Quarterback. And then the next week, I wanted him. I was the one who got him. Ron, you said less than 7 days ago that it's the quarterback's. Why are you fucking having a heart attack? You said no one made it up. You said who's to blame? The quarterback. And now you're angry? I don't know. It's still, that sticks out in my fucking head about that situation.
Next up, we have Philly versus Tennessee. You took Philly by 7. I took Philly by 8. This one just became a fucking blowout. 35-10. Philly took this one.
Man, AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown is a beast.
I think he's a good receiver.
He's top 5.
I think he's pretty good. And it's funny because a couple of days after this revenge game, the Titans GM gets fired. Probably because he traded away AJ Brown. Maybe. I don't know. I do want to say this. I do remember at the beginning of the season when we talked about how it was a monstrous mistake that the Titans, didn't get Julio back. They traded away AJ. We talked about how bad that was because then they don't have any good weapons, despite having Robert Woods and Treylon Burks. They're just not the guys right now, and that it would all be on Derrick Henry's shoulder, and this would not be good for them. I then remember how, I'll say, I'll directly do this. Jackie boy, you want to come after me and come after us and say how, oh, well, Robert Woods only has to, match this low level of production. Treylon Burks only has to match this low level of production. Where are they at? You want to keep making videos on TikTok and you want to keep coming after us for being wrong and being simplistic, even though you say you're right in our videos. We keep being right. If only Tennessee had a receiver that could put up 119 yards on 8 passes with 2 touchdowns. If only they had a receiver like that. Be crazy how good they might be. But they don't.
I'd give you 34 points.
It'd be crazy. That'd be wild if they had something like that. Instead, Derrick Henry gets shut down for 30 yards and they can't win a game. Crazy. That's wild. When the Titans are forced to pass the ball, they can't win a football game. That's wild.
Look, this is your battle with this kid, but he funny.
I try and let it drop. I just say my piece and I move on, but TikTok videos keep getting made, and I'm sure this will be clipped as well. I'm sure I'm about to see my face in a day or so.
Hey, bro, if he wants us to move into his head rent-free, bro, I don't mind having a man cave.
Bro, we got mansions. We got man cave on man cave on man cave. Normally, I have great conversations.
Extra content for free.
I'm saying. But look, it is what it is. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but it is what it is. It's right here. It's on the screen. It's in the numbers. It is.
Live by it and die by it. Ryan Tannehill, although a serviceable quarterback, is not an elite quarterback.
He's not going to win you football.
Although he wins games, he's like a Jimmy G. He wins games, but he ain't going to win it all.
Right. He's not going to win you the game.
Derrick Henry, we've always said it. Let him run for 1,000,000 fucking how many yards he wants. Keep him out the end zone. You pretty much won that game.
You only got 30 yards in this game.
Treylon Burks, although he's had some good games, also has shown to get injured quite often.
Yeah, that one wasn't his fault though. That one was pretty brutal.
No, this other guy, I don't know how to say his name either. I'm not even gonna try. Okonkwo.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go
he's
there.
He's played a handful of games and kind of shown up, but Robert Woods is old. Robert Woods is done. Like Robert Woods is pretty much should probably retire. Besides
Yep.
that, you ain't got nobody. Your
Yep.
defense is sus. You know, your defense has holes, and like, what do you want from us? You're if the Jets were in your division right now, we'd be number one in the division.
We play them later this year, I believe.
That's the thing. Like if the Jets are third in their own division. If we were in your division, we'd be first place.
Yeah. If the Jets were in most divisions, they'd be in first place. That's what angers me. That's what makes me mad when people are like, oh, my division's harder. No, the fuck it isn't. No, it isn't. The Jets have a better record than most division leaders. So fuck you.
And they have a top 4 defense.
Amen to that. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, next. Denver versus Baltimore. You took Baltimore by 10. I took Baltimore by 3. Baltimore took this by 1. This is what the fuck? This is a crap. Like, what the fuck? 10-9?
Well, Lamar Jackson gets hurt on the first series, so he only goes 3 for 4 with 11 yards. Then he gets hurt, and he could be out for a couple of weeks, which fucked multiple of my fantasy teams. So then Tyler Huntley came in. I mean, he didn't do bad. He threw an interception, but 27 for 32 wasn't awful against this defense when you're coming in. But
I don't know what's worse. 17 for 22 for 189 or 27 for 32 for 187.
It's the 17 for 22 for 189 is objectively worse because that's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The other guy came in off the bench. So, yeah, no, I'm going to say Rodgers' numbers are worse. Like, objectively worse. Not to mention, if you look at the weapons that it's being thrown to, you know, you have Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Greg Dulcich versus Mark Andrews.
Courtland Sutton got 1 target, no receptions, no yards. That's wild.
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy
came back, but only got 4 targets. He got his 4 for 4. The tight end Dulcich, I like him, but he's your leading guy in targets. That's absurd.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, Denver is just man, oh man. I just, goddamn, they are awful.
Next up, we have a very, very interesting one. Cleveland versus Houston. You took Cleveland by 20. I took Cleveland by 12.
Damn, you've been so close this week.
27.
Damn, they're hitting them all on the head.
27-14. Deshaun didn't play spectacular.
Yeah, definitely rusty.
I mean, yeah, you got the cobwebs after so long, but you did get the W. Run game did what they needed to do. I mean, I don't even know what to talk about this game.
Honestly, I don't think this is a case of Cleveland being better. I think this is just a case of Texas being worse. Cleveland's defense really came through for this. I mean, in fantasy, they put up like 36 points. They scored, 2 defensive touchdowns, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones ran back a punt return for a touchdown. That's 21 of your fucking points. You didn't score a single offensive touchdown.
Yeah, you didn't have to do jack shit. Let Chubb and Hunt fucking run the ball and call it a day.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it was a case of Texans defense being just so god awful that the Cleveland's defense and special teams put up 21 points on them. Now, everybody in this game combined.
It does get interesting, and I don't think it'll happen, but I do want to bring it up. If Cleveland somehow manages to win out the remainder of the season, they can make the playoffs. I mean, they got 5 games left?
A weak ass division, yeah, they can.
10-7. They can make playoffs.
Especially, I mean, Cincinnati and Baltimore both have 8-4 records. I don't see them winning their division. They're going to need to sneak in and need help. Because even with Lamar hurt, even if Baltimore loses all of their games, Cleveland wins all of theirs, you still have Cincinnati in that mix.
Look, we'll go over it real quick. You said Lamar might not play next game. Baltimore loses that game. Cleveland wins. That's a step closer right there. Boom. They're only 2 games out of bumping them out.
Yeah, but you need Cincinnati to lose out as well. What's the likelihood that Cincinnati
win the division just to make the playoffs?
Even still, I mean, both of those teams are in the wild card running. Cincinnati's in the wild card. Even if Baltimore loses the division to Cincinnati, they would be in the wild card. You have the Jets, technically still the Chargers, the Patriots, the Bills or Dolphins. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, mathematically you're not wrong, but they would need a world of help to get there. A world of help. And their best chance, I think, is winning their division. But with the two top teams, I just don't see them losing out.
Joe Burr is we'll get to that one too. Joe Burr on a tear.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Seattle versus the Rams. You took Seahawks by 12. I took Seahawks by 9. This was just I'm surprised Seattle allowed the Rams to score 23. I mean, they were just decimated by injuries right now. And Stafford wasn't even playing. So you let Wolford throw 2 picks, no touchdowns, but Cam Akers decided to play football, and you let the defense, show up.
Yeah, this was just an overall bad game by Seattle. Yeah, I understand that they won this, but just looking at the way the game was played, looking at the stat sheet, there's no way they should have won by 4. They should have blown out. When you have one quarterback throwing 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, and you have the other quarterback throwing 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, you'd expect this game to be far and away a 10, 15-point blowout. No, this was a 4-point game, won on a final fucking touchdown by DK Metcalf.
And look, I love what Geno Smith has been doing this year. But if you think you are going to consistently win with him throwing or think he's going to throw up these numbers and your run game is nowhere to be found, it's not going to happen consistently. You can bet on Geno to have some of these games this year, sure. But to say day in and day out he's going to put up these Patrick Mahomes type numbers, you're walking a fine line. You need the run game and the defense to step up.
I'm kind of on the train, dog. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of on the train. I mean, do I think he can consistently put up elite numbers? No. But do I think he can put up great numbers? Yes. I mean, he's been fucking balling this season. And I like their chances going into the playoffs. I really like what they're doing. And I think they might have a run at this, bro. I don't know. Getting socked in the jaw and taking some years on the pine.
They need the run game to be what look, you're not going to do it with 90 rushing yards.
I don't disagree with you there, but I mean, Geno's been playing
and then you give him 23 points to a hurt team, to a hurt defense.
Yeah, I feel you, but
I mean, playoff time, this is different. This is different when you go into playoffs. Like, you're not going to be given the opportunities you're given now.
Is Geno going to turn into a different beast for the playoffs? We don't know. Is he going to go up? Is he going to go down? Is he going to stay the same? I don't know. I'm liking what I see out of him. Look, what do you say? They wrote me off, but I ain't right back. That's cold. And he's been playing cold. It's a cold, cold man. The cold, cold world.
Next up, we got Miami versus 49ers. You took San Fran by 3. I took Miami by 6.
Damn, Tua played really well in this game, huh?
Fucking Miami. This is why I don't bet on Miami too. Like, come on.
Tua played really well, huh?
18 to 33 for 295, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks.
And a fumble.
I'm
not going to let that slide.
No rushing game whatsoever.
0.
8 carries for 33 yards. That is just wild.
Brutal.
Wild. Jalen Waddle, 1 for 9 on 5 targets. Like, I feel like Tyreek Hill is like the wide receiver to Derrick Henry's running back. You let him catch the ball however many times for however many fucking yards and shit. Let him score a touchdown. But you shut down the rest of the fucking team. Like, what do you got? Just a human highlight reel.
No, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I was a little surprised Jalen Waddle only caught 1 out of 5 targets. That was a little surprising to me to see him shut down like that. I know the San Fran's got a good defense, but you don't expect both of those. You expect at least like 50 yards out of each of them. But for him to go 1 for 9 or 1 for 5 with 9 yards is a little surprising.
Miami's defense questions me You know, they allow a lot of points given, and unless they throw up a lot of points, they good. These 4 losses are losses where they weren't able to match up.
Yeah, they're definitely a team. They're definitely a team. I call them a drag racing team. They're not meant to play from behind. They need to get out to a quick and early lead and beat you in the 100-meter dash. You know what I'm saying? They need to beat you in that 100 yards.
This is what makes me question Miami when it comes to their defense. Is like you play the 49ers. Key moment for the 49ers. This is the moment where you should dominate the game now. Jimmy G gets hurt. Potential breaking his foot or whatnot. You got Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Come in and I'm not going to say torch you, but kind of torch you because 25 for 37, 2 touchdowns and an into. I get it for 210 yards, but off the bench, like he came in and did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, but he came in. You got to put it in the context of Dolphins fans, right? Mr. Irrelevant came in off the bench against the mighty Xavier Rhodes, against the mighty Bradley Chubb and the amazing Dolphins, and fucking owned you. Yeah, 210 isn't amazing. You're right. But we are talking about the very last pick, not the last quarterback picked, the absolute last player drafted in the NFL draft. And he comes out there off the bench and fucks you up. Damn.
I mean, as Jets fans, thank you. Yeah, we needed this.
Oh, yes.
So,
yeah.
But
and it's been fun to throw shade at Dolphins fans.
But just like the Cowboys, I no longer, bet on Miami.
Yeah, no, they're too hot or cold, and I just don't think they're going to be able to go deep into the playoffs.
They needed this win right here to stay ahead of Buffalo. Buffalo's starting to heat up again. Now you're second. Buffalo takes the lead in the division again. Now it's going to be harder to try to fucking catch back up. Now you got to try to catch back up to Buffalo, beat Buffalo, try to win the division. It's going to be harder if you would have won this out. You put yourself in a good position. It's going to get harder down the road now. 1, to try to win the division, and 2, to try to just make the playoffs. Because like we're saying, going down the line of just the AFC, like any one of these fucking teams could be in.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, you could throw a dartboard at 75% of the AFC, and they have a better than not chance of making the playoffs. Which is wild.
And then a fucking crazy matchup. KC versus the Bengals. You took KC by 10. I took KC by 10. We take that L. Joe Burr owns Kansas City. Joe Burr is 3-0 versus Patty Mahomes. They just have their number.
And this is without Joe Mixon starting. This is with Samaje Perine in for the second week in a row, who is apparently somebody hurt him as a child because he is bouncing people off the ground with Derrick Henry type stiff arms. I don't know, someone from Kansas City fucked his girl or what?
This was Chase's first or second game back.
Yep, Chase came back and put up 97 yards. I mean, yeah, I just give Joe the key to Kansas City because he owns it. You said it. He owns the city. I mean, but aside from that, man, I love this matchup. I don't care where these two players go, if they ever get traded or free agents or whatever. I hope they are always in the same division or in the same conference, and I hope they always play each other because these kind of football games make my dick hard.
As the years continue to go, the Bengals are the better team. The Bengals have a run game while KC doesn't. And while the air raid offense of KC is elite, the Bengals also have an elite air raid offense with Joe Burrow, Higgins, Chase, Boyd, Mixon. They can compete while also running the ball, and they slightly have a better defense than you.
Mm-hmm. And look, I'm not going to lie. And if you look at football and you look at trends, football is a very cyclical game. We're coming back to a more balanced offense. The air raid was the thing for a minute, And it was the thing that got teams ahead. It's what Kansas City built their dominance on for a few years. Now we're starting to see that the slowing of the run game, right? Because teams pick up their defensive schemes. They get better pass rushers. They get better corners, and they start to put a lot more heavier focus on those things. So now we're starting to see the pass game, the air raid start to slow down. And we're starting to see those teams that are more balanced, that can do both of these things well, start to pick up the pace again and start to be able to compete with that declining air raid. And that's what it's coming down to. I mean, like you said, Bengals have a better run game. Samaje himself almost put up the same amount of yards as the entire Kansas City rushing attack.
Yeah, I will say, though, KC is trying to work on their run game. Pacheco, they drafted him. He's starting to break out as a solid running back. They're getting decent production out of their backs. Obviously, the air raid offense is where they're going to get most of their production. But it looks like they're trying to make the steps of a productive back to keep them from being a Buffalo Bill where, you're a running attack away.
I mean, look at it, right? Like Isaiah Pacheco, 14 carries, 66 yards, 4.7 yards a carry, and 1 touchdown. I'm not shitting on that at all. Same thing with Jerick McKinnon, 8 carries, 51 yards. That's 6.4 yards a carry. Both very efficient runners. I'll take 4.7 and 6.4 yards every day.
You won't see McKinnon put up those numbers again until next year.
Exactly, though, is it's not consistent. Like, yeah, okay, this isn't a bad game, but if you run the numbers and you go back and look, how many times do they have these styles of games? You know what I mean? Who was it earlier in the season? No, it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire earlier in the season. Then, they signed Melvin Gordon. Either by injury or just not getting it right, they can't find these consistent runners. You have on the Bengals, Joe Mixon was murdering it. Okay, now he goes down. Samaje Perine 2 weeks in a row has been murdering it. You got to get these consistent runners in there. And look, I'll said it before. I'm a hater of the running back position. I don't believe you should pay running backs because they're a dime a dozen, but you need to get the consistent ones cheap and keep it moving. What we got next?
Next up, we got Chargers versus Raiders, another division matchup. You took the Raiders by 4. I took the Chargers by 3. The fucking disappointment of the Chargers allowing the Raiders to actually win this game. 1 and 2. Now you're almost exactly the same record. We were talking about the Chargers and the Chiefs earlier taking off on this division, and now it's just the Chiefs and then everybody else still being everybody else.
Yep. I mean, there's Austin Ekeler is what this game comes down to for me. Austin Ekeler just hasn't, I don't know what's been up this season. He's been very hot and cold, but 10 carries for 35 yards ain't going to be it. In a game where you're playing, against your division rivals and you're playing against Josh Jacobs, who's losing his mind. You're playing against a newly acquired Devontae Adams that's doing great. God forbid Darren Waller was there. You'd be fucked. But the run game, they got to do something over there.
Yeah, I give Austin Ekeler a little bit of a pass because most season he has held it down, especially with Keenan Allen being out and Mike Williams being out for most of the season. So this is like one of maybe 2 games all season where he put up a shitty game. I will not argue him on that at all. It is good to see Keenan Allen back. He helps Justin Herbert in a huge way, but you got to pull this win out. You got to pull this win out. You got to go 7-5. If you go 7-5, I don't know how it works. They're tied with the Jets at 7-5. I think they bumped the Jets out of the 7th spot.
Now, they haven't played each other this season, have they?
They have not played each other.
I believe.
Do they go by points forced?
Now, that in interconference, I'm not entirely sure. I will plead ignorance to that.
So, because that will put them, they win this game, they're 7-5, Jets are 7-5. I don't know if the Jets stay in that 7th spot or the Chargers take that 7th spot.
I believe the Chargers would take it because I believe that's what it was before the Jets had a better record. So, I mean, look, as a Jets fan, I'm happy the Raiders won this, right? But I'm not going to lie. I feel like with the Chargers, we've seen this movie before, and the previous title was Phillip Rivers. And now we're just calling it Justin Herbert. But this is really a part 2 to the first act. You know what I mean? I feel like we see the same thing over in Green Bay between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. We're watching the same movie. And we're watching the same movie with the Chargers. I mean, we've got, again, Phillip Rivers, potentially Hall of Fame quarterback, but just cannot get there, cannot clinch it. Always injuries, always this, always that. And then we got Justin Herbert, potential Hall of Fame guy, just cannot get there for whatever reason. I don't know if the teams are cursed or what.
I mean, and they got the team. I expected a lot out of them this year. I had Justin Herbert going and winning MVP.
Yeah.
I know the injuries, Keenan Allen and them, you know, it hurt. It's gonna be difficult to predict shit for them next year, but I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah. Again, I just feel like we're watching the same movie over and over and over again, and it's hard to say that they're going to break that cycle. I'm not a big Staley fan, you know. I'm not a big fan of their head coach, but it's just, I don't know what they got to do, but they got to like sacrifice a virgin, eat a goat. I don't know. They got to do something to break this curse.
Next up, we have Indy versus the Cowboys. You took the boys by 20. I took the boys by 12. This was just a complete annihilation.
Woof.
I mean, mostly fourth quarter, though, but still.
Woof. Got a quick question for you. Blind taste test. Who would you rather have? A running back who carries the ball for 12 carries, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns, or the running back who carries the ball 17 carries, 77 yards, and 1 touchdown? Blind taste test. No names.
I mean, I want the 2 touchdowns.
Oh, you want the 2 touchdowns? You want the more efficient running back who carried the ball for more yards, more touchdowns on less carries?
Yeah.
So you'd say he's the better running back?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay. What if he does that consistently over a season?
Then he's RB1.
So he's RB1. So Tony Pollard's RB1.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
He's RB1, bro.
Okay. Well, because I've had to, on TikTok, on Instagram, I've had to defend myself because I don't know I'm a casual. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because although Pollard consistently has, so it's crazy to me. I got into this argument with a dude on Instagram, and I don't remember his name for the life of me, but he told me I was a casual and I was an idiot because apparently Tony Pollard is the third down back, even though Zeke is used to block on passing plays to get the short yardage on third downs and on short yardage goal line situations. And Pollard is used in the passing game and for more explosive plays, but Pollard is the third down back.
That hurt my brain.
Yep. And even though he is more efficient, runs, which means for those who don't understand, he runs for more yards on less carries and is involved better in the passing game as a producer, not as a blocker, Zeke is the better back.
Zeke is still a great back.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. People seem to think I'm coming for him and saying he sucks. I didn't say he's bad.
No, and I get that. They're 2 different backs as well. People have to stop. They have to like think. You know, they're 2 different types of running backs, 2 different types of styles of running games that they do. One bounces it outside, one's ground and pound, one's better catching the ball, and one was a receiver before he was a running back. Tony Pollard was a receiver in college before he became a running back. So, you know, it helps. Elliott's still an RB1. But in this game of modern game of football now, you need to be more
versatile.
Yeah, there you go, versatile. And he struggles in certain aspects that Pollard can excel at.
My question, when I say he's the better back, and a more rational Cowboys
he's
fan,
been taking a beating a lot longer too. Come on, we know how they treat running backs in the league. We've seen his trajectory from the start of his career. I mean, his first 3 years, he was fucking leading the league in rushing, and then he's starting to take the hits.
That's why you should never pay running backs big contracts. But look, more rational fans have put it to me that way, and have said, yeah, but they both really complement each other really well, and they do. They're a great 1-2 punch because, like you said, they run very differently. When I say he's the better back, when I say Pollard is the better back, it's more in the context of if I had to start a franchise right now and I wanted my running back, I had my choice of running back between Pollard and Zeke, and this is what I'm building my franchise on. I'm taking Pollard, taking the guy who's going to run better, who's going to catch better, and who's going to be far more efficient in either of those things.
Now,
That's what I mean by better.
My question is Pollard's production a product of Elliott being RB1 or being a tandem with Elliott?
I would say no, because in the time that Elliott has spent injured, Pollard still puts up the same numbers. Honestly, he puts up pretty much the same numbers, if not better, when Pollard is out. And the argument is, well, of course you would. Zeke is out. Right, but he's more efficient. In those contexts, I would say, okay, well, let's look at the efficiency. If his carries have gone up, but his yards haven't skyrocketed either, you know what I mein? And the efficiency has gone down, then yeah, okay, I get the argument. But his efficiency remains the same throughout. He's still, no matter what, whether Zeke is in or he's out, he averages like 6 to 8 yards a carry pretty fucking consistently. Now, again, is 4.5 yards a carry, is 17 carries and 77 yards and a touchdown bad? No, and I'm not saying that it is. But if I had to start my franchise right here, right now, on a bell cow running back, and the guy I want to tote the rock more, it's going to be Pollard. Now, I'm not going to have a ground and pound scheme. To your point, I'm not going to run Pollard down the fucking center on halfback dives. It's going to be sweeps and fucking bubble screens and wheel routes, and I'm going to get him out of there. But if I had to choose the guy who, okay, it's going to get me more yards and more points, which is the whole job of your offense, it's going to be Pollard. And I'm going to go look for a bruiser in the 6th round. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. We need to bring back Earth, Wind, and Fire on the Giants, man. That trio of fucking running backs, man.
On the flip side, man,
it was what? Ward, Jacobs, and Bradshaw.
I don't remember. Bradshaw. How did I forget? But on the flip side, the Colts, Matt Ryan sucks. So another one just rode off into the sunset. 3 interceptions. I mean, yeah, he's got 2 tutties and 233 yards, but 3 interceptions is killer. He seems to throw an interception pretty much every game, and he lost a fumble, so it's, God, this team is just bad.
Yeah, this is a very, very bad team. Jonathan Taylor, like everyone can hunker down on Jonathan Taylor and shut down the Colts. It's not that hard. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is not a product of himself from last year either.
Yeah, he's a ghost of himself.
My thing is, how dangerous is Dallas? Is this a fraud like we've seen year in and year out? Or is this time possibly a real deal situation? Because Dak, he threw 3 touchdowns, but he only threw 170 yards. He didn't have to throw much. They ran for 220 yards, and the defense just does what the defense does. And there's still the possibility of adding OBJ.
That does nothing for me. So, look, anytime we see a score of 54 points, right, you get enamored. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to playoffs, when they have to go to San Francisco, or even if they're home against San Francisco, right, they are the real deal in the regular season. And I think they might lose 1, maybe 2 more games if they lose again for the rest of the season. It would not shock me if they win out. At max, they lose 2 games. At absolute max. But the playoffs are a different beast for them. They flip the switch, and not in a good way. I mean, based on previous context of playoff football, there's nothing that forces me to believe that they can make a deep run. If I look at the games right now, if I look at the roster right now, obviously the answer is sure, they can make the Super Bowl. But based off of the context of how they turn into when they make the playoffs, I can't say that confidently.
I mean, granted, they would have to win out in order to try to win the division. If they're looking division, they have to win out.
Oh yeah, I mean they're making the playoffs no matter what, be it wild card or division. But yeah, I mean winning the division is going to be tough against an Eagles team.
33 points in the fourth, though. That's wild.
That is wild.
That's
That's a
wild.
wild fucking score. That's the
Next up,
Madden shit.
we had the Saints versus Tampa Bay. You took Tampa by 10. I took Tampa by 7.
I don't even fuck this game.
This was just insane as well. I mean, 5 minutes left in the fourth, 16-3, and then Brady just does what Brady does.
Fuck this game.
Like,
I'm so mad, not because Tom Brady is who Tom Brady is. That's not what makes me mad. But of course, the final fucking touchdown has to be thrown to fucking Rachaad White when I'm playing against him in the Degenerates. We'll get there in that episode, and I'm only down by 2. Fuck this game.
I mean, Taysom Hill and Chris Olave almost cost me my win.
Yeah, I can imagine. Taysom Hill's one of those guys, man. For fantasy purposes, he is fucking risky as sin because he's either going to give you 60 fucking points or he's going to give you no points. This week, what, he gave you a respectable like fucking I
think Nate had like 12 points from him.
Yeah, I was gonna say with 3 carries for 10 yards, so that's a point. 2 catches, that's 3 points. A touchdown, that's 6 points. So before yards are considered, he's got what, like 9 fucking points. So yeah, I don't know, man. The Saints, I said it in our little post game like graphic that I made. The Saints, they just need to embrace the rebuild. I don't know why they're married to Andy Dalton the way they are. If Chris Olave was on almost any other team, he's the favorite for offensive rookie of the year. And this kid balls out on this shitty ass fucking Saints team.
He does. And Brady, on the other hand, continues to squeak out wins. He's 6-6 now, in a 2-game cushion on the division at 6-6. God, just
how he does it is absurd.
God. 54, like 36-54. Why is he throwing so many passes?
Because they've got 76 yards total on the ground. That's why. No, man, like watching that final drive gave me PTSD. Like I just had like flashbacks. Like, you know how you hear, the typical joke you hear, but Fortunate Son, and then the choppers come flying in from like Vietnam flashbacks. That's what it gave me. Like I was like a little kid Jets fan again, being up by 6 and watching Tom Brady drive down the field. Like it gave me so much.
If Tom Brady's last season if this is his last hurrah, and he walks away after the season. If his last season is considered a mediocre season, but his mediocre season is barely above 500, still wins the division and goes on a playoff run, I'm fucking upset. Like, God. Yeah.
Especially the way they started. Like, come on.
If he ends up fucking, they're probably gonna get 10 wins. They'll go 10-7. So his shitty Tom Brady season is fucking 10-7.
And honestly, because we all know that they're making the playoffs, that's horrifying. Playoff Tom Brady, playoff Lenny, that's horrifying. I am horrified for what's about to happen.
You had a chance to just like put the stake in the coffin and just a season with no Tom Brady in the playoffs, make him really contemplate retirement, and you just allow him to keep toying around in the playpen.
He's like a fucking cockroach. You just can't fucking kill him. And here's the thing. I'm going to say it out loud so that there's a record of it, because it's in the back of my head, and I don't want to speak it into existence, but I want a recorded record of this. There's a better chance than not that Tom Brady makes the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There is a better chance than not.
I mean, yeah, going through the NFC. I mean, you're not wrong.
And if he makes the Super Bowl, I'll put it at a 75% chance that he wins it. Because anytime Tom Brady is in the Super Bowl, he fucking dominates.
And last, we got the Jets versus Minnesota. You took the Jets by 3. I took the Jets by 8. What a fucking game. And you know what? This is a loss where I'm not completely upset, losing my mind, and just like outraged. Like, this is a respectable loss. This is a loss where I'm like, you know what? Good game.
Yeah, no one with half a brain is shitting on the Jets for losing in Minnesota to Minnesota against what was a 9-2 team. Right? No one's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you lost to that team." No shit, almost everybody loses to this team. And I don't care. Look, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, well, Mike White lost you the game. He threw a game-losing interception." Mike White has started for like 2 weeks. Okay, Mike
the game
White
was lost way before that interception.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He had a chance. Yeah, with Braxton Berrios' drop. But look, Mike White coming out here on his like second start of the year, throwing 31 completions, 369 yards, and 2 interceptions does not make me mad in the slightest. My dude played his fucking heart out. And outside of some questionable play calling to me and a dropped touchdown pass, the Jets could have easily won this, man.
I don't really consider his second pick. Like I said, the game was lost well before that last pick. What made me upset was the lack of like willpower to get into the end zone. One, Zerline, fucking amazing. Zerline went out there 5 for 5, a long of 60.
A long of 60 that had another fucking 30 yards on it. He nuked that motherfucker.
Yep. He tied some franchise record and shit like that.
Mind you,
20. If we get in the end zone just one other time besides the Mike White touchdown, that's it. Like if we had, I want to say at least I can name at least 3 opportunities where we missed getting in the end zone and really putting up 45 points on Minnesota.
That Braxton Berrios drop kills, man. Kills.
The Braxton Berrios drop, the drive right before that, Zonovan Knight couldn't get into the end zone, and then we went and Garrett Wilson ran a errant route. You know, that's 2 incidents right there. We had a play, I want to say mid-game, where it was called back on holding or some shit like that.
It was the first play of the game. The first play was like a fucking 8-yard run for Zonovan Knight. Like I came back on a holding, and I was like, "Come on."
You know, we just needed to get in the end zone, and we got to find a way to get into the end zone. We need Zonovan Knight. That guy right now, you got to put him RB1 until further notice.
100%. 100%.
And when Breece Hall gets back next year, I want to see that tandem as well. Because I know Michael Carter, what he can do, but he's been underperforming this year. And he had the chance to shine with Hall out, and he hasn't. So I want to see what Knight and Breece Hall can do, because they're similar in their run game.
Yeah, definitely. I like the future. And what really impressed me about this game for the Jets is on what appeared to be the Jets' final offensive drive. Bam Knight gets it from the 3 down to the 1, gets stuffed at the 1. And then this is where the questionable play calling came in. Then we're throwing 2 straight passes from the 1-yard line. Why are you not having a backup offense? It takes CJ Uzomah, start him at put him behind center, right? And put 3 offensive linemen behind him, and then just QB sneak it and just rugby scrum this bitch in. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, go fuck yourself.
I like the minute I saw that, I flashbacks to Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Agreed.
Like, honestly, Zonovan Knight has shown enough flashes in the last 2 games where I would have went 4 straight run plays and you stop my run game, because I really have I have that confidence in my offensive line against your defensive line right now. I 4 straight run plays. I don't give a fuck. I'm not throwing the ball on the 1-yard line. 4 straight run plays. Tell me, you look my offensive line in the face and tell me we're not getting that 1 yard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. And that's so I started off by saying that's what impressed me. So that's obviously not what impressed me. So the Jets turnover on downs on the 1. Now, any other Jets team, the Vikings easily get the first down, and they probably go down the field and score and really put this bitch away. The Jets forced a 3 and out.
In 15 seconds.
The Jets defense held strong, said, go fuck yourself. You're not going anywhere, and gave the offense the chance again to get the ball. For Mike White to even bring them down to the 19-yard line and inevitably throw a touchdown or an interception. I wish it was a touchdown. But the fact that they even had the ball back with under a minute speaks volumes to what this team can do. And yes, we lost. I get it. Nobody cares. I've said it many a times. Nobody cares about style points. Nobody cares about moral victories. It doesn't show up in the win-loss column. We needed this win. We didn't get it. Luckily, all the teams that we needed to lose also lost. So we're still in the playoffs. We're still in the 7th seed. And we're only 2 games out of first place. We go into Buffalo next week. We'll talk about that matchup here in a second. But like you said, I leave this game going, damn, good game, but damn. You know what I mean? Like, I don't leave this game going, fuck, there's our season. We can't even fucking win this shit. You know, I leave this season going, Braxton, if you just catch that. You know, in hindsight, 2020, if the Jets go for the field goal, get the ball back, and then kick another field goal, we win. But you can't fucking predict that. I don't disagree with them for trying to go for it on 4th down in that situation. But I look at the game. I see Justin Jefferson, 7 catches for 45 yards. Yes, he had the touchdown, but 45 yards.
Mostly covered by DJ Reed. Small amount of times against Gardner. They try to keep him away from Gardner. The times they did go against Gardner, I think he was 2 catches for 10 yards or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
The rest was against Reed. So good matchup. I needed the win, but good matchup.
Yeah, and the fact that the Jets got better as the game went on. Again, there's a lot of moral victories here that give me hope for the rest of the season.
So at the end of the week, Zach, you ended 12-3. I ended 9-6.
Pull it away!
You ended up 99-79. I'm 95-83. Good for you.
It's not again, we are growers, not showers. It's about how you end, not start. So let's talk some predictions. It's Thursday when we record this. We'll be live tonight. We've got the Raiders and the Rams on Thursday Night Football Prime Video. Las Vegas is going to LA. We got Vegas favored by 6.5. Fun fact, Baker Mayfield just picked up on Tuesday by the Rams. He is not being ruled out for this start. We don't know if it's John Wolford or Baker who's getting this start in LA. No matter what, the Raiders win. 2 days is not enough prep time. It's not enough time to get with your team and get things figured out. Give me the Raiders by 3. I think it's ugly, but I think they win.
Yeah, I'm taking Raiders by 6.
Next. I'll let you go if you want to. Shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take your job.
Oh no, I was just saying next.
Oh, next we've got. Let's start with. We'll go Texans versus Cowboys in an in-state matchup. Dallas is at home, and Dallas is favored by 17. Give me every piece of that action. Give me Dallas by 20.
I'm taking Houston by 3.
I bet you are. I'm gonna edit out this next part where you say whatever you really say, and I'm gonna keep in.
No. This is gonna be a slaughterhouse. Give me the boys. I give it a little bit of respect. Give me boys by 14.
Damn, that's far nicer than I could be. And we got the Browns traveling to the Bengals division matchup. Cincy is favored by 5.5. I like the Bengals. I want to say by a lot, but I'll only do 4 because I'm not sure what Deshaun Cosby is gonna do. So give me the Bengals by 4. Would you prefer Deshaun Epstein?
Stupid. I'm taking Cincy by 7. I think Joe Burrow is heating up, and nobody was going to want to play Joe Burrow in the playoffs if he's hot.
Especially if Joe Mixon comes back. I mean, Samaje Perine has been holding it down in the backfield, but either way. Then we've got, it's the week of division matchups. We've got the Vikings traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. And here's a fun fact. ESPN's got Detroit by 2. I don't like that action. I'm going to take the Vikings by 6.
I kind of want to run with that. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of want to run with that.
It had me interested for just a second. But if the Lions beat the Vikings and the Jets can't, I can't live with myself.
I'll give me Minnesota by 7.
Next, we've got the Jags versus the Titans in Tennessee. Now, the Titans are without their newly fired GM, but I don't think that affects the day-to-day operations. Tennessee is favored by 4 here, and give me Tennessee by 4. This could, if this turns into a shootout. I mean, right? Like we said, if the Titans can, or if the Jags can contain Derrick Henry, then the Jags will win in a shootout. But I don't think the Jags can contain Derrick Henry. So, give me the Titans by. What did I say? 5? 4? Give me 4. Give me 5.
5. I'm taking Tennessee by 6. I just see a highlight stiff arm in the back of my head like that. I just see him going off on them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that not disagreeing with it. And we've got is everybody in divisional matchups?
Straight up.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Damn. The Eagles travel to New York to take on the Gigantes. Philly is favored by 7 here. I think it'll be closer. Give me Philly by 2. I think they're going to kind of get into a divisional slug match.
I'm bucket. If they're losing, they losing to New York. I'm taking the Giants.
I mean, look, they're only lost to the Commanders, so I mean, they can only lose
the Giants by 3.
We got the Ravens versus the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is favored by 2.5. It does not look like Lamar Jackson will be playing, and for that reason, I want the Steelers by 1.
I'm taking Pittsburgh by 2.
Yeah, we've seen time and time again.
I want some rattle. I want the seedings to get rattled up and some shit to happen.
You just in it for the chaos. I'm in it for the logic. Whatever gets you through the day. Chiefs Broncos. Broncos are at home. Chiefs are favored by 9.5. Give me the Chiefs by 12. This isn't even a football game.
Why Russell Wilson is gonna show up like he was in the Super Bowl?
Wouldn't it be wild if Russ went off for like 4 touchdowns? I'd shit.
Give me KC by 14.
In what seems like the first non-divisional matchup, we've got the Buccaneers versus the Niners. San Fran is home. San Fran is favored by 3.5, but Mr. Irrelevant versus the Tampa defense and, Tom fucking Brady. Give me Thomas Edward Brady and the Tampa Bay Brady's. Give me them by 7. I don't know. I like a touchdown here.
I'm taking Tampa Tom by 10.
And we've got the Panthers versus the Seahawks. We've got Seattle home favored by 3.5. I'll take Seattle by another 7. I like a touchdown on this too.
I swear to God, Braden and Colbs, if they fail me again, they fucking fail me again. They failed me a few weeks ago. Did I even vote?
If you lose to Sam Darnold.
If you lose to
I mean, I've done it. The Jets have done it. You can't do it too.
Give me Seattle. Oh, it's a battle of the former Jets quarterbacks. I love it.
Oh, shit. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Give me Seattle by 8.
No matter what, you're rooting for the Jets in this game. I like it.
Everywhere.
Yeah, because they can't draft for shit. This year they can. Thank you, God, for fucking Joe Douglas. Then we got the Dolphins heading to LA to play the Chargers. Miami is favored by 3.5. I don't see any reason to go against that at all. So give me Miami by 4. I guess I'll cover the spread.
I'm taking the Chargers.
Any particular reason or just a gut feeling?
Like we said before, the Dolphins can throw up a lot of points, but their defense has been so fucking sus because they give up a lot of points as well. And the Chargers have shown to throw up a lot of points.
Also fair. Also
But
fair.
they've also shown to, I mean, this is a matchup where both defenses aren't as good as they think they are, and both offenses can go off. I'm giving it to the Chargers. I need the Dolphins to lose anyway.
I mean, I would love for the Dolphins to lose for non-gambling purposes. By the way, none of this is gambling advice. Just a little legal disclaimer.
Chargers by 6.
I like it. Monday Night Football. We've got the Pats traveling to Arizona. I forgot Arizona even played football with how they've been doing recently. We've got the Patriots favored by 1.5. I don't like anything about this.
Nope.
Look, honestly, it comes down to coaching for me, and I disrespect Cliff Kingsbury that much that I don't think he could win against me in Madden. So give me the Patriots by 3.
Yep, same here. I took the
Some good old mac and cheese in Arizona.
I'm taking the pass by 3. It's gonna end up fucking 20-17.
Probably. And then we've got a disrespectful fucking betting line. We've got the Jets traveling to Buffalo. The Jets who've already beat Buffalo. The Buffalo is favored by 10 here. That's disrespectful.
Well, the last one was what, 13?
Yeah, disrespectful. Obviously, I'm taking the Jets. And in all honesty, I'm taking the Jets. And I like the Jets by 2. I think this isn't going to be close. I think it is going to be close, I should say.
I'm taking the Jets as well. I was giving shit to. I got a buddy at work that's a Bills fan. He's like, "You think you're gonna do it?" I said, "Damn right. We're gonna smack that ass up."
Got to.
Give me the Jets. Give me the Jets by 6.
Jets by 6. I like it. Honestly, I do like the Jets' chances, right? I mean, against a healthy Bills defense, they did okay. Obviously, they won last time. Against a healthy Bills offense, the Jets did great. Von Miller is now no longer a problem. He was lost to injury, which is a shame for the football world, but beneficial for the Jets overall. I don't know. I like it. I know that they're going into Orchard Park. I know that, that it's a tough place to play. But, Mike White's been playing great football. He's not Zach Wilson. He's got better command of the offense. So if they lost last time to Zach Wilson, imagine what we can do this time.
I mean, their offenses and defenses are not that far off. The Jets average 21. Bills average almost 28. Points allowed is 18.6 to 17.4. Passing yards are 40 yards difference. Rushing yards are 15-yard difference. Yards allowed, relatively close, within 10 to 15 yards on both teams. On paper, this is a fucking matchup.
This is a fucking matchup. Be careful over there. It sounds like you're doing some research. That's not allowed on this show.
Huh.
You better be careful. And honestly, in the last 5 games, the Bills only have one more win than the Jets, and they've played objectively worse teams. So I don't know.
We'll see. They also lost to Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota swept the AFC East. I don't know if you noticed that, but Minnesota beat all of us.
They beat the shit out of all of us.
So at least we were the last bastion of defense against it, and we couldn't pull it off, but at least everybody else did. So yeah, that's our week. What is that? 14? What fucking week are we even in? What are we talking about? 14? Jesus.
14? That's week 14.
Whew, man, we are almost there. That's crazy.
14, yeah.
5 more weeks, including this week. Football's coming to an end.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go. Playoff time, baby.
Playoff football, baby. You got anything else for the fans?
Go Cowboys.
We're not ending like that.
No, illegal. There's something in the contract that says we can't do that.
I'm gonna put as Jets.
Can't do that neither. I'm gonna put a bleep over that when Christy walks through. Just beep. That's gonna be the end of it. Anything else for you? Beep. And then Said what I said,
Uh,
bitches.
So what I said, bitches. Have a good one.